music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking.
Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Demon Berserker, and today I'm going to be showcasing a Doc support healing build. So if you've ever joined a game on Nightmare or No Hope, and you've noticed that everyone is practically dead or just barely hanging on, you know, they all have massive trauma, they look like they could wipe at just about any moment, of course you have. We've all been there, and the first instinct is really just to back out and try to find a different game where people aren't so bad off, just to join a different game where we run into a similar problem. Well, instead of running, take a look at their team composition. Most of the time the reason for this is not because everyone's a bad player, but it's more often because they have no one filling the healing role. Nightmare and No Hope especially is extremely punishing. Even the best player can't be 100% perfect all of the time. We are going to get hit at some point eventually, and sometimes on No Hope it only takes one good smash from a tall boy or getting squeezed by a crusher for you to lose a lot of health and a lot of trauma, and sometimes even just get one shot outright. It's not as important on Recruit or Veteran, but on the harder difficulties, we need some way to recover from bad moments where the team takes a lot of damage, and that's where this build comes in. So let's break it down. So first up, we have EMT Bag. This gives us plus 50% healing efficiency. More healing efficiency means bigger heals to all of our allies. Combine this with our second card, Antibiotic Ointment, which adds another plus 25% healing efficiency, as well as adding 20 temporary health, which is the little blue bar you see at the end when you heal somebody. And combine this with Doc's innate cleaning power, that gives us another 15% healing efficiency. So right out the gate, we're stacking a ton of healing efficiency so that we can have the biggest heals possible. Mutations on No Hope hit extremely hard. The best way to counter a tall boy smash is with a big boy heal. Also, the temporary health added to us from Antibiotic Ointment also helps to act like a little shield or buffer, because damage from this temp health cannot cause any trauma damage to us. And the next card we have is called Medical Professional. Defibrillators and first aid kits heal 10 additional trauma damage and 1 extra life if able to. This is one of the most important cards in the deck, because dealing with trauma is crucial on Nightmare and No Hope. Once people have so much trauma, eventually anything can one-shot them. And on No Hope, we don't recover lives between the stages anymore. So this can also restore a life back if they've gone down. And then we have Field Surgeon. When you use a medical accessory, it also heals 3 trauma to the target. So now, not only can we heal trauma with medkits, but also with the smaller healing accessories as well, like bandages. Because sometimes you pop open a box and all you might have is 4 bandages in a row in there, so you have to make use of them. Not to mention these last 2 trauma cards also increase with our healing efficiency, which we have a high amount of as well. So these are all going to stack and actually increase the amount of trauma healing even further. And next up we have Group Therapy. When you use a medical accessory, all teammates heal for 8 health. This sort of gives our heals a little bit of AoE healing burst to them, which will benefit the whole team, not just the person healed. In some circumstances, a pills used on yourself in a high-stress moment that gets pushed out to the rest of the team might actually make the difference between life and death. And like the last 2 cards, this one also benefits from having increased heal efficiency. So it's actually going to heal by more than it says it does. And then we have Support Scavenger. You can sense nearby support accessories. More accessories spawn in each stage. So we can't heal anyone if we run out of meds, right? This just helps us to find more in each level to refill our supply of heals and keep us going. Sometimes you really get lucky with this as well and find several medkits in a single stage. I think I found up to 3 before in a single board. And then we have Experienced EMT. When you use a medical accessory, the target gains plus 10% maximum health, stamina, and stamina regen until the end of the level. This just feels really nice. A lot of time people will start each map by buying a first aid kit and dropping it onto the ground in front of them, and that's your cue to pick it up and heal them with it. And now it also gives them the added effect of more health and stamina for the rest of that board. A little sidebar here is that it's also good etiquette for you to heal the person who dropped the medkit for you. If you pick up someone's medkit and heal someone else with it, or you just hang on to it and keep it for yourself, they might think twice again before dropping you another medkit, which we don't want. So unless they say ahead of time, like, here I have an extra medkit for you to hang on to, or heal my friend, who's low life, then just assume if someone drops one and says nothing, then it's implied that they want you to heal them with it. Next card up is Amped Up. When a horde is triggered, your team recovers 20 health. So once upon a time, this card used to give temporary health instead of normal health, and it was really good. But even after the nerf to normal health, it's still a really good card. Hordes are just inevitable in any level you play, whether it's time-based, or someone gets grabbed by a sleeper, or someone accidentally shoots and hits a bird, or an alarm door in the background in the distance, or even destroying nodes, like my last video showed, link in the description below. But at some point in any stage, a horde is going to come. And this card kind of turns that, flips that back on the enemy, because now it feeds us health every time one of those hordes comes. And then we have Needs of the Many. We lose 10% life, but the entire team gains 1 extra life. So if you're playing with bots, then they all have this on by default. When you play with people, usually no one else is going to run this card, so it becomes our job as the healer to run it. With this, instead of someone going down and just straight out dying for good, this now gives players an extra life or an extra down, allows us to pick them back up and keep them going. Especially on No Hope, where people have 1 down and they do not recover lives between levels, giving them this extra down really comes in handy. And remember, we have medical professionals, so our medkits and defibs can restore these lives as well, but only up to their maximum amount, which is 1, unless you have this card played. And then we have Fit as a Fiddle. This gives the team 20% bolstered health and plus 5% team health, as well as Well Rested. This gives plus 20% team overheal and 5% team healing efficiency. So together these cards go hand in hand. The bolstered health extends our maximum capacity up, while the other allows us to overheal into this added health pool. Any health that extends into this added pool does become temporary health. So although it doesn't last, it does provide a little buffer and a little shield for a while, so that things can't just attack our normal health, and it helps protect us from a bit of trauma damage. And then we have Shoulder Bag. This adds plus 2 support inventory slots. So this brings us to a total of 3 healing accessories instead of only being able to carry along just 1. But just to note, you can only have 3 of the same type. So you can't have like 2 bandages and 1 medkit on you, for instance. It has to be of the same type. And then we have Magician's Apprentice. You have an additional 10% chance to not consume accessories when used. So this card can truly be RNG. Sometimes you don't even notice it working. However, sometimes it can really start to pop off and proc like 3 times in a row, and you end up turning 1 medkit into 4, and it really goes a long way. So it definitely can come in handy. And now down to the last 2 cards, we have Marked for Death. Mutations you ping are highlighted and your team deals 10% increased damage to highlighted enemies. And Shredder, each bullet hit causes the target to take 1% increased damage for 3 seconds. This stacks up to 15% damage. So my reasoning is that between these 2 cards, we're not healing all the time, every second of every stage, right? So when not healing, we need some other way to contribute. So this allows us to contribute damage output to the entire team. Marked for Death allows us to be sort of like the lookout for the team and ping any mutation threats that we see coming, which is great because since we can't deal much damage ourselves, because we're mainly built for healing, not for dealing damage. But with these cards, it allows us to at least give the team a bright red, highlighted, easy target and sort of alert them to it so that they can start shooting it instead, and it's going to help them to do a lot more damage to it. And then you combine that with Shredder, which adds another 15% as long as we're shooting it consistently, and now each person is doing 25% more damage to a target. And then we have 4 players, so 25% more damage times 4 players is 100% more total damage output. So especially on No Hope, when things have a huge health pool, this is a major contributing factor in being able to bring down things like ogres, breakers, and tallboy mutations that all have a lot of health. I also like to run SMG, and in all honesty, this is probably the only build that I can recommend that for. And the reason is, it ends up being a better support weapon than it is a main weapon. SMGs get more ammo capacity, right? And although they do low damage, they shoot quickly and allow us to fire faster, which builds up stacks of shredder. And we are now also not competing for the team's ammo supply. More than likely, the melee is probably running shotgun because they can't ADS due to meth head, and shotguns have pretty good hipfire and close-up damage, and the other two people are most likely DPS gun players using rifles, or possibly one's a sniper. But the worst feeling in the world, have you ever had a doc run up to a box and immediately steal all their rifle ammo, and now the actual DPS gunners have little to no ammo, and you have the doc who's stealing the most used ammo in the game? I'm sure you have, and it's an awful feeling. So with this build, we mainly go support, we use SMG that no one else is using, and we increase damage output to help the people who are really doing a lot of damage do even more, all whilst not competing for their ammo. That's just my 2 cents. Maybe you prefer to add some copper cards instead, that'll help you earn more money, and then before maps you can have money to buy med kits or whatever it may be. You know, whichever you have fun doing, it's up to you. Yeah guys, I definitely encourage you to give this build a try. It gets slept on a bunch, you know, not many people like to play the healer, but if you can't beat the harder difficulties, it's usually because you're missing a healer, so someone's got to step up. This is the build that is going to carry your team through the higher difficulties. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and click the notification bell for updates on my latest videos. I appreciate you all, and thanks so much to everyone who made it to the end. Love you all, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah.